This is a national NC-57 from about 1949, something like that. This receiver was had quite a traumatic life, I think. The original power transformer had melted down and left a lot of tar in the bottom of the chassis, and then somebody replaced it but hadn't bothered to clean the tar up, and they replaced it with two transformers, one for the high voltage and the 5-volt heater for the rectifier tube, and a separate transformer for the 6.3 volt heaters for the other tubes. And I think they did that because the transformer they'd used for the high voltage, the 6.3 volt winding, was open circuit on it, so a bit of a kludge. Anyway, I managed to find a nice Hammond transformer from a friend that fit nicely on the chassis and provides just the right voltages. It's a little over-spec'd, there's a little bit current in reserve. Every paper capacitor and every electrolytic has been replaced. I also installed a fuse under the chassis. I give a little bit more protection on the transformer. So I think I replaced 22 or 23 capacitors, and I replaced about the same number of resistors. The old parts are in these bags here. And yeah, there's not many original resistors left in this thing either. There's probably only about 7 or 8. So anyway, I did do a quick test to make sure it was functioning reasonably well. I haven't got all the new tubes in yet. I've got a couple of the old weaker tubes in here, and I'll be replacing those at some point soon. I just thought I'd give it a power on test. The speaker's kind of jury-rigged onto the front of the chassis because it fits inside the cabinet, and I don't have the cabinet. And the send-receive switch there is just hanging in the breeze, but I've insulated it so it doesn't short out on anything. And I've lost my bag of chicken head knobs. I can't find them anywhere, so I've got a real motley selection of knobs in here, a couple of Heathkit ones on the tuning, and a bit of everything else on the other controls. So I'll switch it on and monitor the voltage. This 102 volts and DC volts, and that's coupled to the VR150 stabilizer tube, and this analog meter is actually on the high voltage supply. Okay. So we've already got high voltage, just over 300 volts there, and 150 volts on the stabilizer tube.
That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Desk Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce.
So it's on broadcast band with a few feet of wire. There's an antenna.
We can and will reduce your debt.
They can help make your home more comfortable, save energy. With Fortis BC's rebate.
Interesting, somebody's done a modification to the set as well. They put a switch and an SO239 socket on the back panel, and I was kind of puzzled as to what that was for. So I traced the wiring, and it's actually linked to the AGC circuit. So why anybody would want to switch the AGC to a SO239 socket on the back of the receiver is a mystery to me. But I've got a VTVM. This yellow wire here is coupled to VTVM over there. So when I tune the stations, you can see the AGC voltage go up and down. And if I switch the switch on the back of the chassis, it switches the ABC off to that socket. That's really a mystery to me. Maybe somebody was using it as a diversity receiver and they needed the AGC to another receiver or something. Really weird. Anyway, it's working. Check it on the other bands, just to spot frequencies, and it does actually work on the other bands too. It cuts out on the highest band, which actually goes to 54 or 55 megahertz, and cuts out about 49 megahertz. So I'll just put this signal jenny on. So that's just a little whip on the signal generator. So it's receiving okay around about 42, which is about right on the dial. Go up to about 48. You see the image there. It's a little bit off on the tuning as well, but I haven't touched the alignment yet. So I'll try 50. 51. Cuts out. The converter tube in this set is pretty weak, so that would certainly explain why that would cut out. It's 6SB7Y, it's a little bit unusual, but I should be picking one up this week to install in the set, along with another couple of tubes. But it is working on all bands, which is good news for the owner. Just on 32 megs there. Pretty accurate on that band. Try the next one down. It should be about 11 1/4, 11.25 to 11. Yep, no problem. And this should be around about 4 megs. Nothing there. .2. Ah, there it is. It's not quite as sensitive, low frequencies. I'm sure if I couple the signal generator properly, it'll be fine. Yeah, the BFO is also working. I'll get that down.
Presented by the team.
Switch the modulation off and switch the BFO on. Remember how to do this. It'd help if I use the right control. And if we get the full range there, it definitely needs alignment. Anyway, everything seems to be functioning, so that's good news. Tone control. So there we go. National NC-57.